October meeting of the Wood County Board of Supervisors to order. I ask the clerk to please take the roll, and it appears he has done so. At this point, I would call on Supervisor Voigt to please come forward for the invocation. I'd ask the body to rise and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would please.
I had 12 years on Wood County as a department head, and I'm going on 17 years as a county board supervisor. And I feel this prayer relates to all of us county board supervisors who have been around for a while, or you department heads who have been here for a while. God of peace, we invite you to preside over this meeting, even if we had different opinions. Give us unity of spirit. Help us to each listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a great outcome. Help us to work as a whole rather than as individuals trying to promote their own agendas. May we have a spirit of camaraderie in this room and work together on our shared mission. Strengthen us as we make tough decisions. Let us be effective and decisive. Dear God, infuse in us moral strength. Lord, in your mercy, we ask for your blessing on this day and always. Amen.
Please join the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome everybody. First order of business is to dispense with the minutes from the previous session. I have a motion to approve by Hamilton. I have a second by Bry. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? All in favor of approval of those minutes, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries unanimously. We have no resignations today. We have no appointments or reappointments. And I'm going to ask for a little bit of latitude here. I know we have some public comment today, but I've got half of the Sheriff's Department in the back of the room. So if without objection, I think I'm going to move up that acknowledgement and recognition because we have one of those. Does anybody object to that? I'll feel safer if they're back out on the streets. Well, maybe I feel safer if they're in the room here. But Sheriff Becker, if you'd come forward, please.
Why are we here? What time show? I've been wanting to do this for a long time, roasting you. We're here to recognize Doug Christensen. He's been with the Sheriff's Department now 25 years. We started around the same time, and back then the department looked a little bit mature, right, Wayne?
Yeah.
Wayne had the honor to train both of us. That's probably why he lost a lot of hair. Anyway. Doug's been, like I said, been with us for 25 years. He started his career with State Patrol and then fortunately came to the Sheriff's Department. Like I said, at the time that we started around mid-90s, the Sheriff's Department didn't hire many people. We were probably the first two that were hired in, like 8 years, somewhere around there. So we were the young people. Now we're not. Now we're the old people. And you can guess who's older. Fair enough. Well, like I said, Doug started as a deputy and then quickly moved up in the department. We had the opportunity to serve on the special response team together. Also got involved in accident reconstruction. And back then, the computers weren't very popular, and we had to do hand drawings. And I didn't mind a crayon. Doug did his, with a pencil and paper, and he was a little bit more meticulous than I was. In fact, there's a drawing that he did that's on display at the Sheriff's Department. It's unfortunate when we get called out together that we're dealing with a tragedy. Well, we learned a lot together. You apply the science to a situation, and then you have the result, and that moves forward into a district attorney's office where somebody's held accountable for what they did. So putting that science together, we learned a lot, and that was a special time as far as in my career working with you on that. I had to listen to you. But anyway, also Doug was a field training officer, and as he moved through his career, there's something that really stood out with Doug, and that's the compassion. Not only for the compassion for the people in the community, but the compassion for the people in the department. There's a story I'd love to tell about Doug. He was really struggling when there were some changes made on mental health commitments. Back in the day, law enforcement really made that decision for people in the community, and that changed. And rightfully so, it changed because human services and crisis got involved quite a bit more. And they were making a decision on who would, either get committed or go somewhere for help. And Doug didn't agree with that a lot. And he complained a lot. And he'll tell you that he did. But with him, continuing to have the compassion for people in the community that were suffering from mental health, situations or illnesses or whatever it might be, he stayed on us. He stayed on us as leaders to say, hey, this change I don't agree with, but we need to do something about it. And with that push and staying on top of it, we did change. Our department changed. When we started our careers, there was really not much focus at all on officer wellness or mental health. So with him having that passion, and complaining, and continuing to complain, and complain some more, we got to a point where we started putting our deputies through CIT training, crisis intervention trauma, or crisis intervention training, team training through NAMI. And that would not have happened with our department if it wasn't for Doug, coming in and saying, hey, we need to do something different. And really what came out of it is that we need to train our law enforcement officers differently. And that's what CAT is all about. So he went to train Appleton, he came back, the light bulb went off, and he said, we need to put everybody's through this training. And what evolved from that is now we host our own CIT training, connecting with human services and the resources that we have here locally in Wood County. Instead of sending our deputies and law enforcement officers all through the state to get trained in CIT, we do it ourselves. And we've now trained probably, over 300 people? Not just our department, but that's spread out to other law enforcement agencies, not just within central Wisconsin, but throughout the state. So that's Doug. That's not giving up and seeing the direction that law enforcement need to go, focusing on mental health. The second thing, and even more important, is our wellness. Our officer wellness program really evolved from Doug. Starting to look at our daily blotter, looking through all the prior calls to service, and seeing if there was a situation that one of our deputies might have dealt with that might have been traumatizing to us. And following up with them. Hey, are you okay? Hey, are you okay? You got to say it a few times. And there's no doubt in my mind that that's helped many of our staff. And we've grown between CIT, officer wellness, peer support, our chaplain program. He's made our department better, made me better, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. So, Doug, 25 years, congrats. Thank you. You bet.
Years sounds like a long time, but looking backwards, it feels like it's just been a moment ago that I started with the Sheriff's Department. I remember starting and thinking that the guys that I worked with were 10 feet tall and that they knew everything. Right, Wayne?
Yeah.
No, seriously. Looking at the years of service, the experience that was there, and it feels like it's just been a blink of the eye, and these guys are retired. And now I'm one of the old guys on the department with the experience, and I've had a lot of thoughts about how to pass this knowledge, these experiences along, so that way our current officers don't have to relearn the hard lessons along the way. So, like Sheriff Becker said, I had the opportunity to be at the ground floor of some of our programs. Our chaplain program, at one time, I think I was the only full-time law enforcement officer who was also a certified chaplain. Due to policy changes that we can't do that anymore, but still a liaison with our chaplain program. We finally got our peer support program in place to take care of other officers. And we continue to make huge inroads in that area, and I think that's the area that, at least that I'm involved in, that we can continue to make huge improvements. There's an awful lot of stuff that officers respond to that it doesn't just affect them on the job. It affects them at home. And we need to take care of them. I've got a few more years of service left in me, and I've got some ideas that I would like to actually see come into fruition before my time is up. And I hope to continue to be able to make a difference in people's lives, not only in our community, but the men and women that I serve alongside. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Doug. We appreciate all of the residents of Wood County, appreciate your service, and we really need you to stick around for a few more years because it sounds like you're doing a lot of training of the sheriff himself. Michelle, I'm grateful for that going forward. All right, we are going to move into public comment. I know we have some public comment today. I hope those young deputies in the back of the room are listening and they pay attention to you, Doug. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? If we do, and I know we do, please step up to the microphone. Just state your name, and the timer is on the board. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Trin Spindler. I am from the town of Day in Marathon County. You guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I'm here today to provide the Wood County Board with information about the wind and solar industry that's moving into the central Wisconsin area and really sweeping through. Today, I will provide the board with 2 ordinances. One is the wind ordinance, health and safety, and the other is the solar ordinance, which is also health and safety, which has been passed in several townships across Marathon County. It has been passed in Clark County, and one township here in Wood has also adopted it. I'm requesting 2 things of the board today. The first thing would be to not allow Alliant Energy to lease the land on the research farm in the township of McMillan. And my second ask is that you at least take a look at the ordinances and see if it's the right fit for Wood County. I know a lot of the townships around here start to look at this, it's something they're concerned about. And I know doing it countywide could really help the townships take some of the burden off of your townships and onto a more strong entity as yourself. So, the township of McMillan, I was at a town board meeting last night. We're not even aware that the research farm had been approached or that the Wood County Board had been approached to lease the land to Alliant Energy. And this is a tactic we see a lot, is that these big energy companies are coming in and they're trying to lease land without letting the township or the boards know what's going on. It's what happened in the town of Day and in several townships across Marathon. So, I'm asking you guys to adopt these ordinances to protect the health and safety of the residents. Now, with the wind project in McMillan on the research farm, all of the neighboring townships except McMillan, which they're looking at the ordinances now, have already adopted wind ordinances to keep out this major industry. And this has been voted on by the people. That's something that's been very important to us. We wanted the people to say yes or no to having these projects in their area. And overwhelmingly, they've all voted no, thank you. And we're talking 95 to 5, 97 to 3%. When it comes to the solar issues, which is what is the major issue in Wood County, we also have a health and safety ordinance. There's several different provisions within the solar ordinance that concerns us. One is, ground erosion, removal of topsoil, runoff, and irritants to neighboring landowners. But we have the information we provided. I also have articles and other links that you guys can do some research on. Me and Farmland First will be available to ask questions, and we will be happy to provide you information from what's going on in other townships and counties to best inform you on what's really going on. Just know that the residents count on you guys to protect their health and safety going forward.
Thank you. That was timed perfectly. Do we have additional public comment?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Tom Wilcox. I'm the Clark County Board Chair. We had some issues in Clark County, and we kind of want to be ahead of the game a little bit. I wanted to kind of walk you through what we did in Clark. The way the statutes are set up in 66 and 401, it's a little bit restrictive about what you can and can't do. It seems that you're able to do a lot more with solar as far as local control than you can with wind. So Clark actually adopted a solar ordinance. We have copies of that here if anyone wants to see it. I guess one of the things I want to make sure you're aware of is reclamation is a real problem in my mind. You know, on a non-metallic mine, we have that all set up beforehand. I'm sure you would also. You know, what is it going to look like when you're all done and you're done and everything you're claim? And the state doesn't actually allow you to do much of that. It's very restrictive. But if I know the Counties Association is big on joint development agreements, and you might be able to do something that way. My biggest concern about joint development agreements is, you know, a township or a county will probably do this once or twice, and these developers have already done it 5 or 6 times this week. So who do you suppose would be better at negotiating a joint development agreement? The other thing that I want to warn you about is one of the things that the developers want to protect against to control their costs is road damage. And so it's been encouraged to do a joint development agreement and cap those road damages. But I want to remind everybody that there's no reason to do that. In the state statute 85, it allows the maintaining authority to assess triple damages for road damage. And if you already have that in the state statute, I'm not sure why you would negotiate that in a joint development agreement. So if that ever comes to fruition, I'd like everybody to know that ahead of time so that they don't get kind of led down the garden path. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment today? Any other public comment? All right, then moving forward, I guess, in the packet today. Get started. Appreciate your traveling over for public comment today. Referrals, page 4 in your packet. One referral, Village of Buren. Any questions there? All right, moving forward, the Operations Committee meeting of Wednesday, September 25th on pages 5 and 6. Operations Committee of October 1st on 7 and 8. And then we have our monthly letter of comments from the county clerk on 9. From Human Resources, begins on 10 and runs through page 14, 10 through 14. We have our monthly comments from the Treasurer's Office on 15. Employee Wellness, 16. And then as we move forward in the packet, this is what I'm going to try this without objection. There's 2 resolutions in here dealing with tax deeded properties. There is a redemption allowed, and it was complied with on the second resolution in your packet. So that one was handled already, it's done. It would be a moot point to go forward with the resolution because they have complied and they have, in effect, redeemed that property. So we're only dealing with the first resolution. Does anybody have any objection to that, instead of going through the whole process of indefinitely postponing it? Okay, we're good. Trent, if you'd please read that first resolution.
This will be Resolution 24-10-1 to accept the offer of sale of tax deeded property. Fiscal note, the offered amount of $48,500 minus the real estate taxes, special charges, delinquent utilities, publication fees, and tax deeding expense, nets a gain of $40,433.16.
A motion by Clendenning, a second by Zerflu. Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, then I'd ask you to please vote.
I don't have a clicker.
He's not.
You're up? Okay,
Yeah.
I saw the thumb.
When I sit down, he's down, I'll let you know.
All right, that resolution passed unanimously. And like I said, just for clarity, that second one in there was handled through the Treasurer's Office and all the rules and regs complied with. So moving forward in the packet, we have another resolution brought forth by the Operations Committee on page 20. I would ask the clerk to please read that.
This will be Resolution 24-10-2 to amend the 2024 budget for Health Department's budget for the purpose of dispersing funds for approved opioid remediation applications with opioid settlement funds. Fiscal note, no cost to Wood County. The source of the funding is unspent opioid settlement funds. The adjustment to the budget totals $453,619.74.
And a motion by Voight and a second by Hamilton. Is there any discussion? I know our health officer, Sue's back, you've been to every department to explain this, or every committee meeting, but any discussion? Any discussion? All right, please vote. And that resolution, again, passed unanimously. Thank you. I'm usually listening or watching for a hand. I got a thumb right here in the front. All right, moving forward in the packet. Page 21, our Health and Human Services Committee meeting of Thursday, September 26th. That's 21, 22, and 23. And then we have the monthly update from the Health Department. It begins on page 24 and runs all the way through page 39, 24 to 39. Give you a chance to scroll through those. And then as we move to page 40, it's the update from our Human Services Department, beginning with Director Brewings, and that runs through page 46, page 40 to 46. Page 47 brings us the SEED minutes from Wednesday, October 2nd. That's on page 47, 48, and 49. And then page 50 takes us to the North Central Wisconsin Tourism Partnership. That used to see that as ITBAC. We renamed that to be more reflective of what we really do. And as I mentioned before, the new chairman of that, president of that organization, is our own Brad Hamilton. Those minutes are on page 50 and 51 and 52. All right, moving forward, extensions monthly update, page 53, and it runs through page 57. 53 to 57. Same monthly comments from Land and Water Conservation, 58 through 61. 58 through 61. And then that brings us to page 62 in your packet, which is another resolution brought forth by Conservation, Education, Economic Development, and that's page 62.
This will be Resolution 24-10-3 to approve an amendment to the Town of Saratoga official zoning ordinance. Fiscal note, none.
Motion by Schultz, second by Leitner. Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, I'd ask you to please vote. And that resolution, I got ahead of myself, resolution passes unanimously again. Thank you. All right, as we move forward, page 63 in your packet begins the minutes of the Judicial and Legislative Committee from October 4th. That's 63, 4, and 5. And then we have the monthly update from the Child Support Agency on 66, Clerk of Courts on 67, Corp Counsel on 68, Criminal Justice Department on 69, Register and Probate on 70, and Register of Deeds on 71. So those are all the monthly updates from that department, and then we have, or that committee. And then we have the resolution on page 72 brought forth by the Judicial and Legislative Committee. It's kind of 72 through 76, and there's some supporting documents that actually are on pages 73 through 76. Trent?
This will be Resolution 24-10-4 to create one part-time 80% addiction medicine nurse practitioner position. Fiscal note, anticipated wages and benefits based recommendations by Human Resources for healthcare workers compensated outside of Wood County wage plan with an effective start date of November 4th, 2024, totals $135,355.
And I have a motion by Supervisor Budke and a second by Supervisor Hovenden. Is there any discussion? And Supervisor Hamilton?
I just have one question. Is this a one-year grant or is this a three-year grant?
You know, I listened to that presentation, I don't remember.
I thought it was 2.
Is it a 2-year grant?
2-year grant?
3-year grant, I'm getting 3.
Do I hear
I
four?
heard 4, yeah. 2, I got 2, now 3, I got 2. So it's a 3-year grant? It's a 3-year grant.
Okay.
And the question asked in the committee meeting was if the grant dollars went away, would the position go away unless otherwise dealt with? The answer is yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? All right, please vote. And once again, that resolution passed unanimously. All right, moving forward in the packet, page 77, minutes of the Highway Infrastructure and Recreation Committee, their meeting from September 17th. And then as we move forward on 78 through 80, their minutes from October 3rd. And then we have the update from that department, beginning with the accounting supervisor's report. Their monthly update is pages 81 to 84. 81 to 84. We have a monthly update from the Park and Forestry Department, begins on 85, and that runs all the way through 94. Pages 85 to 94. And that takes us to page 95, the next resolution in your packet, brought forth by the HERC Committee.
This will be ordinance number 24-10-5 to amend Wood County Ordinance number 400 Speed Limits Ordinance to change the speed limits on parts of county trunk highways H, U, and W. Fiscal note, none.
And I have a motion by Hamilton, and I have a second by Bry. Any discussion? I do have some. Supervisor Roser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just was wondering, what were the speed limits before all of this change took place? And can somebody just explain a little background of why the necessity for the change?
Supervisor Howland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Residents in the towns were concerned that 35 was too fast, and so they requested the change down to 25. And no one did a study on it. He found that was the right thing to do. Thank you.
I guess I can answer your question if nobody objects. So, as stated by Supervisor Hahn, these are generally initiated by the local unit of government. The committee looks at it from a safety perspective, and then with the recommendation of the highway commissioner, decided this was the best move. So is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? I ask you again to please vote. And once again, the resolution passes unanimously. All right, moving forward, the minutes of the Property Information Technology Committee, their minutes begin on 97 through 98. Their monthly update begins on 99 and runs through page 103, 99 to 103. Our facilities manager's report on 104, and this is kind of funny, I was reading this last night and I kind of had to chuckle a little bit. A lot of times you may not see what a department head or another employee is doing. What our facilities manager does is pretty obvious. There's a pretty big jail sitting over here and some other pretty big buildings. And I was laughing when he writes this down, and yeah, we can kind of see it. And he had the opportunity, I'm just going to make a comment, to tour that facility the other day with Ruben. It's coming along really good. We're on schedule. In fact, I heard some news yesterday that we might be able to even have some meetings in there as we approach the end of the year. So is that still kind of a maybe? December. So we're moving forward on the meeting part of that facility. So anyway, thank you very much. Anybody with Ruben's comments on 104? And then as I move forward in the packet, you have the Junior Fair Board minutes on 105 and 106. And we have the South Central Library System Board of Trustees on 107 and 108. We have a special order of business today from the ADRC, Central Wisconsin, update. And we have Mike Reed here to give us that update. This has been a really good collaboration that we put together a number of years ago. Up until this year, we saw no increase in funding or requests to that organization at all over all of the years it's been there. We had a number of our supervisors have sat on that board in the past. We have some that still do. And Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you for the annual update, I guess, or maybe it's every second year.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
The floor is yours.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to just come in and provide an update. So, as the chairman indicated, so we are formed as an organization through a 4-county intergovernmental agreement. So we serve Wood, Marathon, Lincoln, and Langlade. It's been a great partnership. It's been allowed us an opportunity to provide services consistently across that region, but also effectively and efficiently, which has been just a great, I think, opportunity for those 4 counties. We're fairly unique in the state in that regard. Is how we're structured, but I may be a little biased. I think we're the best structured in the state in regards to how we provide those services. So the services we do provide are the required ADRC Resource Center services, along with the Older American Act program services as well. So those can include our resource services. We are the one-stop shop for anything related to older adults or adults with disabilities. Any question or concern people may have, all the way from sitting down and talking with somebody for what supports and services they can keep to keep themselves independent and healthy within their home, all the way to if they don't have the personal resources. We also are the agency that determines eligibility into the Wisconsin long-term care programs. Along with our Older American Act programs, one of the most popular ones is our meals program, our nutrition program, so Meals on Wheels and our congregate dining sites that we have throughout the region as well. We're aging. All of us are aging, and I think that's, I saw recently a sign from a county within the country that says, aging is so cool, everyone's doing it. And it's definitely something that you've all heard about many, many times, is the fact that our population is aging as a whole. Between now and 2040, the percentage in each of our counties and each of the counties across the country, essentially, the number of individuals 60 and older is going to continue to increase until 2020 or 2040, when it plateaus a little bit. So with that, that's an increase in not only services for us and engagement of our services, but across your spectrum of services, older adults will be accessing that. So with that has come, obviously challenges in regards to keeping up with the volume of individuals coming in, but also just the financial aspects of it. So one thing that was horrible, obviously, was our pandemic. But the one thing that the pandemic did bring was some financial aspects that were beneficial to us through ARPA dollars. Those dollars went away as of September of 2024. So budgeting going into these next years, we've already started that challenge with our 2025 budget, and that will continue. One of the biggest aspects, there is some, and I come to you, when Chairman Plumwell indicated that this is the first time that we've asked for a levy increase since the inception of our organization, which I think is pretty awesome. But I also think that that's appropriate, because in my stance, these are state and federally supported programs. Counties have some match requirements, but there are some advocacy efforts going on at the state and federal level in regards to aspects for older adults, and in particular to our nutrition programs. As you might imagine, nutrition costs have gone up, especially with our vendors. We've had an increase in food costs for our programs of 43% over the last 4 years. So that cost has to come from somewhere. So, my ask to you is, one, at the state and federal levels, and have contact with those representatives, tell them about the importance of these programs. We are designed to keep people as independent and as healthy as possible within their own homes, which also, in the big picture scheme of things, is fiscally sound as well. You're supporting people within their homes. It's a preferred destination where they want to be. They're healthier, they're happier. They're also not tapping into other services that are more costly. So with that, I guess, I can throw data at you, but I really wanted just to give you an update. It is part of the intergovernmental agreement that I come and talk to you on an annual basis, provide you just a little bit updated in regards to what's going on with our organization. Just sharing with you just some of the challenges that we're facing fiscally, and the things that we've been doing successfully. So I would entertain questions.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, does anybody have any questions? We do appreciate you coming in and giving us a little update. Like I said, a number of us have been involved over the years and seen the efficiencies that we gained through this agreement. And I don't know if you had it on your desk this month or if I left it here last month, but a number of years ago, the Counties Association decided we got tired of relying on other data. So we created Forward Analytics and we kind of stole what Mark O'Connell, you've probably heard him allude to. Dale Knapp is the smartest person in Wisconsin, but Dale Knapp from the Wisconsin Taxpayers Alliance, and then Kevin Dasboy. And this isn't just something we recognize in Wood County, this is a statewide issue, and you can read all the facts and figures and all the problems we're going to be facing going forward due to an aging demographic. So I'd ask you to read that, and if you have any questions of Mike, they're always available, he'll answer your questions. If you have any questions at the state level, call Dale or Kevin, they'll be happy to sit down with you. Anybody have any questions for Mike? I think you're off the hook already.
All right, sounds great, thank you.
Thanks for coming up, appreciate it. All right, we've gone through our normal order of business here. The one thing we do want to note is next month's meeting by statute is the second Tuesday of the month. So we're going to be meeting on the 12th of November, that's the second Tuesday. I think that regulation reads unless it's Veterans Day, in which case there's a change, but so it'll be the 12th. Is there anything else that needs to come before this body today? Anything else? All right, then I will declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you.